Support for this podcast and the following message comes from MGM Studios and United Artists Releasing's Respect. Jennifer Hudson is Aretha Franklin in the true story of the icon's musical and spiritual journeys. She overcomes controlling men and inner demons and, empowered by family friend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., becomes a civil rights activist, with Forrest Whitaker, Marlon Wayans, and Audra McDonald. Critics say this is another Oscar-worthy performance from Jennifer Hudson and has been hailed as electrifying. For your consideration in all categories, including Best Actress, Jennifer Hudson.
What you, baby, I got what you need. You know I got it. All I'm asking is for respect. R-E-S-P-E-C-T. Find out what it means to me. R-E-S-P-E-C-T.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to the AwardsWatch Oscar Podcast. I'm your host, Eric Anderson. This is podcast number 88. We are going to talk BAFTA predictions. It's Sunday, January 30th. They're just in a few days. And I have a very special guest, a first-time guest. I'm really thrilled to have her. She owns, runs, does the Robert Podcastinson podcast, but you may know her better as Daisy's mom. That's how I know her. And here we have Kenzie Vanunu. Hello, Kenzie.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
I'm super thrilled. I'm really, really stoked to have you on here. You're one of, these people that I talk to and interact with on Twitter and elsewhere almost every day. So it's nice to actually get to talk and away from all of that.
Yeah, it's so nice. It's like no interruptions, just us talking.
I know.
And I just, I almost put Daisy in her Jake Gyllenhaal onesie that you got her, but she finally doesn't fit in it. She finally hit 10 pounds. No more newborn outfits.
That's my goal weight. Goodness.
10 pounds,
Yes.
She's killing it.
Yes. God, she already outgrew that. That was a short. I mean, I know how short the life of clothing for a baby is, but goodness,
it's crazy. It's overwhelming.
Yeah. Number two, you'll have to put it on number two. Anyway, like you said, we're going to be talking about BAFTAs. We're going to do screenplay categories, acting categories, director, film, and rising star. We're going to try and tackle that, which is always a really crazy, weird category.
I like that you were like, let's talk about the hardest to predict category on record.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, I have a long list of like 20 names.
Amazing.
And when we get to that category, we can talk about how very strange it is, and really more in its winners than it's nominees overall. It's a fun category.
Yes.
And so with the BAFTAs and their brand new rules last year with juried votes as a way to tackle the very systemic issues of racism that they have had within their membership and nominations and all of that, they followed what the Oscars have tried to do with increased membership and a more diverse membership. And they went quite a few steps further by changing how the voting structure is. And if you were watching the award season last year, you know that the long lists are back, which are great. I think most of us really like the long lists. It's a lot of fun. The only thing it does is deny us the surprise of like a really great surprise nominee, because you can see it in the works. But they're chapter voted, and for the categories that we're going to be talking about, especially the acting categories, you've got these very small juries of 5 to 7 people that are voting. And in those acting categories, the top 2 that made it are automatically in. We don't know what they are, but we can kind of get an idea a little bit. And part of the reason for that is that last year, we saw some pretty wild snubs. I guess you can call them snubs. Like Carey Mulligan and Olivia Colman and Gary Oldman, all not making the nominations. All of them clearly got in for the Oscars. So it was almost like, I guess, a backlash to the backlash of how they were perceiving how they were perceived. And the result of that became an almost flip side of what the nominations in the long list looked like last year. Last year's were extremely British, extremely diverse, and this year is extremely not.
It's so American. I was trying to count how many like American actors like this year versus last year's long list, and I was just like, it's so weird. Like I don't really know as much as I would like about British films, and I realized that when I was looking into this. But I was like, were there less films or something? Like, I don't like, it's so bizarre.
There definitely wasn't less films, but there was such a clear, I don't know, reaction to last year. And there's so many things that that really stood out. And I think the biggest one that everybody has really talked about was the acting categories, which have 60 long listed performances, and 59 of them are English language. Only one got in to be long listed. It's crazy.
It's just so, like, especially when I was looking at my like top 20 films of 2021, and I was like, so many of them are not in English. It is just so bizarre to me to have this many places to put people from like films not in English, and then to just actively choose not to. It's like, one, I don't like, did they just not watch these movies? Like, I don't, where's the but then it's weird because I feel like it's not that many, but there are directors on the long list of films not in English. So I'm like, you did watch them. Like, how do you put them there but not in the acting long list? It just is so bizarre. I don't know how you watch these, like any movie, and you're like, okay, I'm gonna put it here but not include anyone when you have 60 slots essentially.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like you're like, oh, I only have 5 options. Like, you're like, I have 60 slots. I'm not going to put, like, I'm going to put one.
And of the list, the actors list, there are 3 main British films that also did very well at BAFTA, at the British Independent Film Awards, which I think is, looking at last year, looking at this year, and then in years going forward, I think a lot of us are going to rely on BIFA to help give us those British films that are going to pad out all of these very American films. And we'll obviously talk about which 3 those are, I presume, in our nomination predictions. Let's go ahead and start with the screenplay categories. We have adapted and original. We will have 5 nominees in this category. These kind of feel a little bit easy, almost easy, except this is where I think maybe we'll see some of those non-English language films that were able to find themselves on the long list in each of these categories. And let's start with adapted. I kind of want to just throw out some titles and then we'll fuss with them a little bit. I think Coda, Drive My Car, Dune, The Lost Daughter, The Power of the Dog, Passing, Tragedy, Macbeth, West Side Story, probably kind of what we're looking at in this section. Do you think that's
my exact list? And then like my 5 is Power of the Dog, The Lost Daughter, Coda, Drive My Car, and Dune. So Tragedy of Macbeth is so hard for me because one, I love that movie, but I think like screenplay wise, it's the exact, like that's where it's the weakest, just because it's exact, like it's not taking too many chances screenplay wise, which is great for the film, but it's not great in this category. But I do think if like it's on the long list a lot, so if they do just like go crazy for it, it could get in here.
Mhm.
I don't know what I would take out of the 5 though. Because like you were saying, I do think the screenplay categories is where we see those films not in English. So I'm like, they're not going to take out Drive My Car. I don't really think they would take that out.
Yeah.
But like, what else would they take out? They really liked Coda, which was kind of shocking to me. I thought maybe if Coda lost steam anywhere, it would be at BAFTA, but it seems like that just like increased its power.
Mm.
And obviously Power of the Dog is not gonna miss. They really like The Lost Daughter.
Yep.
And then Dune is in. Like Dune is not out.
Yeah, that's what I'm struggling with too, is looking at these, and because I don't want to make this list too obvious, I guess, too not American, but too Oscar-y, because we're gonna have some of these outsiders in there, because like Coda, Drive My Car, Dune, Lost Daughter, Power of the Dog, that's kind of the 5 Oscar frontrunners right now.
They're not going to do that, but I'm like,
yeah,
what is the odd one out? That's what's like, that's what's hard with all of screenplay for me, is I'm just like, I don't know particularly like what is the one that misses. So like something I don't think is like going to be in at the Oscars gets it. Like, I don't know what is out. Mm-hmm. It's really funny that we both are like West Side Story like could happen, but is not in my 5.
Yeah, I think especially as the film that's leading the long list, it might have a very difficult day nomination morning.
That's what I've been feeling.
Ooh, okay. Yeah. Yeah, see, this is tough, because then you look at the long list and like Cyrano's on it. Eyes of Tammy Faye is on the long list for adapted screenplay here, which I'm like, how did that even happen? But I mean, maybe a little bit more on that later. So I think I'm gonna go.
Cyrano was the thing for me also, because I was like, if they really liked it, wouldn't Joe Wright have been longlisted?
Sure, but then same goes for No Time to Die, which is also here. But then
he's not.
Cary Fukunaga is not longlisted.
Because I personally see a very big possibility where No Time to Die is like overperforms at BAFTA just because it's the last one for Daniel Craig. They obviously went nuts for his first one with Casino Royale, but I'm like, it's just weird. He like with the director long list, there are so many movies I thought they would go really crazy for where the director missed, and I'm like, I can't really put No Time to Die in screenplay if they couldn't even long list the director.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so here's my 5. I don't even know. And this keeps happening to me. I'll do like a podcast prediction, and then like the next day I'll do like my written ones, and they're totally different. Because I'm a total spaz. But I think I might try and just play it safe and go with the Oscar 5 of Coda, Drive My Car, Dune, Lost Daughter, and Power of the Dog. It's
just sometimes I feel like they go really crazy and they pick like 2 things that like are never going to happen at the Oscars, but I don't see what you take out. Yeah, this is the category that doesn't have one of those BAFTA titles to kind of change it up a bit. Make me think something else is going to happen. Exactly. But if I had a spoiler for it, it would be Tragedy of Macbeth. I see that. Yeah. I feel like they really liked it. Yeah, they did. All right, let's hop over to original screenplay. This is already more time than I would have expected us to spend on screenplay, but there's, it's things, it happens. All right, looking at this, maybe a few more titles of possibility here. And of the long list, I've kind of winnowed it down in half
to like After Love, Being the Ricardos, Belfast, Don't Look Up, The Hand of God, Licorice Pizza, The French Dispatch, Last Night in Soho, and Worst Person in the World. Because this is one of the few categories that has some representation of non-English language films, because Parallel Mothers is here, Petite Maman is here. That's where I think we might see something a little bit different than what we're expecting Oscar to do.
I really hope Worst Person in the World gets in. I don't feel confident it's getting an Oscar nomination. I would absolutely love that. So I wish it would be like the one that gets in here that doesn't get in at the Oscars, just so like people talk about it. So I really think they like Don't Look Up, and I know that's in the Oscar 5. I'm just curious what they do with Come On, Come On because of where else it's shortlisted. But then when Come On, Come On didn't get I didn't expect it to get WGA, but I was like, maybe it will. I just feel like that movie is like just completely dead on arrival, and it's so sad.
Dead. It's like even less than 20th Century Women was.
It's just infuriating.
It's bizarre.
Hard to make Mills, but I would love to see it pop up. I don't think it's going to. I do think After Love is like the safest of the like that was like the first one I wrote down. I was like, I haven't seen this movie, but like
I mean this is one of the BIFA 3 absolute favorites.
Yes.
So it's here. I think it's here.
Definitely here. I do think Licorice Pizza's in. I do still think Belfast is in.
Yeah, I think there's going to be some weird things with Belfast.
Yeah.
The way that they are with West Side Story.
Yes. So I have Belfast missing more than I would assume, like with BAFTA, but I do have it in for screenplay for some reason. I just think maybe they'll be like, that's what we'll give Kenneth Branagh. Like, we'll have him here, but that's it. I just feel he's weaker I don't think the screenplay of Belfast is what works about Belfast, but I think they'll settle to put it here, if that makes sense.
Yeah, like the Golden Globes did, giving that.
Yeah, like you're not worthy of the director or any but we'll put you here. Like
yes.
I think it's like 5th. I think the French Dispatch definitely gets in.
Definitely.
Yeah. Because I think they liked that movie, and I have someone from French Dispatch getting in acting wise. So I think they also give it here.
My goodness.
Yes.
What with that little teaser? Oh my Lord.
Yes.
All right. So I have, not that I feel good, but this is I feel kind of good about 4. And then number 5 is like all over the place for me in this.
Yes.
So I have After Love, Belfast, The Hand of God, and Licorice Pizza. And then it's like either Being the Ricardos or Don't Look Up, French Dispatch, Last Night in Soho, or Worst Person in the World. And I don't know what to do. I think I would probably go with Being the Ricardos because I do think that Kidman was a top 2 choice, but then it's not in director.
It's not in director, but then I think Molly's Game got in for screenplay.
Yeah.
So they might just throw him a screenplay just because he's Aaron Sorkin and not care if they did anything else
which is basically almost
what everybody else does.
Everyone does it. It doesn't matter if it's Globes or WGA or Oscars or whatever.
Okay, so I have Belfast, Licorice Pizza, After Love, Don't Look Up, and The French Dispatch. And then I have Worst Person in the World, The Hand of God. And then I still enlisting Come On, Come On. I want one person to do it. I just want one person to do it. I feel like if I speak it into existence, maybe it'll happen.
Yes. I think I will probably pull the trigger on Being the Ricardos as my podcast prediction, I think. Which is crazy because the more, we are going to go through this, we're going to see like Don't Look Up, which was also a long list leader
Yeah.
just not making the cut all over the place.
Ooh.
I don't know. Oops. Did I say something? Oops.
Oops.
Let's get into the acting categories. But before we do those, I think we should go right to Rising Star.
All right.
Because this is going to be messy. And the weird thing about this is that I think there are several contenders that are actually in contention for actual nominations in the acting categories. And generally, there is not a lot of crossover between the two, with the obvious great exception of just this last year when Buki Bukre got in actress and then won Rising Star. But that is really rare.
It's so weird because on one hand, I like that they recognize people that aren't getting in to the acting categories. But on the other hand, I'm like, if they were that good, shouldn't they be in the acting category? Like, it's a very weird thing. Like, I like that they do it, but I'm also like, how can you not include them elsewhere if they were so powerful?
Part of it, though, is not the work that they did specifically that year.
And that's
why we kind of see that.
Yeah.
And I think there's going to be, like I said, I've got like 20 names, and the first ones are all like, Alana Heyman and Amelia Jones and Rachel Zegler and Ariana DeBose, all of which have a decent chance of getting a nomination. So I'm probably going to pull back from most of those as a chance of getting into here. And especially when you look at last year's nominees compared to previous year nominees, which have been, even though this is a juried selection for nominees and then public voting, previous years have been very populist, very, very populist choices of people that most everybody knows. Last year's nominees were definitely not that.
Yeah.
So I really tried to look outside of, those obvious names that I just mentioned for other people, because I feel like there's going to be a little bit of that, while still a little bit of like, oh, I know who that person is.
Yeah.
Coming from a total US point of view and understanding, not, anything other than that. But so just throw out some names. Who are you thinking about here?
Well, so the one person that was the first person I thought of was Woody Norman from Come On, Come On. But I have almost getting in. So I don't know if that's a good idea.
He's also a bit young, but yes.
Yes. But then I do have Rachel Zegler because I don't have her getting in.
Yeah.
So I have her here. And then I don't know. Okay. I don't, because I also feel like they're going to go with people you don't know. Because I wrote down everybody you did. That's like super obvious. Like Alana Haim, Ariana DeBose, Amelia Jones. I don't know how you say her name. I'm really sorry. I didn't even write down her name. Renata Renze, is she like eligible?
Yeah, absolutely. Because I have her on that too. Yeah.
Okay.
Renata Renze.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Renata Renze. Okay. Sorry.
Absolutely. And she's totally possible as a nominee, especially as the only non-English language contender here.
Yeah, I would definitely say her then, because I don't think she's getting in. I think she's on the cusp of getting in.
Well, we do have 6 slots in the acting categories, just almost for that reason.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't have her in.
So I think
she's there.
I've got some, like I said, I tried to look really a little bit outside.
Yeah, I'm so excited because mine are all like super obvious.
And then I again looked at BIFA and I'm like, who are like the British breakouts? Because all of them last year there were no American names last year, and there often is. I mean, just the year before was Kelvin Harrison Jr. and Caitlin Dever and Aquafina, and yeah, it's a crazy wild category. So I looked at Agathe Roussel from Titan, obviously, I think is somewhere around here.
That would be so cool.
Yeah, I think I might actually predict her too.
Love that.
I looked at Moses Ingram, who was in the Queen's Gambit last year and is in Last Night in Soho this year.
That's good.
And then I even went to Tohib Jimo, who's plays Sam in Ted Lasso, but he was also in French Dispatch.
That is a really good one.
And then Lauren Ajufo in Boiling Point. These are the types of names that I feel are going to be here alongside like maybe one or two that's like, oh, Thomas and Mackenzie or Mike Feist or something like that.
That's really good.
But
because I do
crazy.
feel like Ted Lasso is a really good example of something that like Americans think about, obviously, but they really like the French Dispatch. And then they obviously will always pretend they liked Last Night in Soho. That's good. That's good. And then like what of the like super American well-known do you think is in? If you had to pick like one, who would you? I feel like it's Rachel Zegler.
Yeah, I think it would have to be her. It's the kind of name that would be. Yeah.
Because I don't think she's in. And I don't think West Side Story is gonna like.
And I know a lot of people that are predicting Zegler to get an actress nomination. So maybe that is sort of feeding into that her chances are better here.
Yeah. It's so funny. I'm always like, they're gonna put her here and not there. Like they think about it like that, but I'm like
yes, exactly. But also too, when you look at the nominees they've had before, it's not a lot of like debuts or like real first year breakouts. These are people that have a few things under their belt and then show up here.
Yeah.
So like, Zegler or Amelia Jones or Alana Haim or Cooper Hoffman for that matter would seem kind of weird here in that sense. I
didn't even write down Cooper Hoffman.
Oh, I definitely have him as a possibility, but again,
that's like a really good one, but I just didn't even write him down.
I've got Sheila Atim, who was in Bruised and the Underground Railroad, and she is British.
That's a really good one. I didn't know she was British.
Yeah. And even somebody like Jack Whitehall, because his exposure more internationally was from Jungle Cruise.
Yes.
Jack Farthing, maybe he's too old. I don't know, but he has.
That's the thing I kept thinking. I was like, I don't know what they consider too old.
Exactly. I'm like,
you can't like. There's no age gap. Like, there's no cap. Like
there isn't. But
there has to be like mentally, like you can't be a rising star and be like 43. Like
exactly that.
Honestly, there should be a rising star for like 43 because I'm like they've put in the work. Like
it is. That's
acknowledge
where you have
it.
Like Ann Dowd. Ann Dowd should be a BAFTA Rising Star nominee.
Honestly. She's like, you guys didn't like me when I was on The Leftovers. You guys didn't like me until I was on The Handmaid's Tale, and now Mass, and you're not even going to do anything with Mass. That'd be amazing.
I'm telling you.
What if they did that? They were like, that's where we'll put Mass.
Wow. I also had Max Harwood, who was in Everybody's Talking About Jamie.
That's a really good one.
So I think
because that movie was bigger for the UK than us.
Absolutely.
That's a good one.
So this is crazy. Again, I'll just name what I think the 5 are here, and then in my like written predictions, it's probably going to be something totally different. So I think I am going to go with Agathe Roussel, Mike Feist, Max Harwood, Moses Ingram, and Lauren Ajufo. But I'm holding on to the Tohib Jimo from Ted Lasso as a spoiler. Oh, but there's so many.
I didn't the Ted Lasso one is just so good. Because I feel like his storyline was also like really great and like really works if you're living somewhere you're not from. So I just, yeah.
Yeah, I might see.
Now I need that.
I know I might switch that out because he just makes so much sense.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that. Now I'm like gonna campaign for him to get this.
Good. I think so too. And those actually get announced on February 1st, 2 days before the regular BAFTA nomination. So this is publishing on January 31st, the day before the Rising Star nominees are announced. So I got to get that out quick.
So when Eric is right, everybody say thank you. My Kenzie's list is all American actors and totally wrong.
It might go back to something more like kind of like that. That's full of American actors, but it's probably not. It's probably gonna lean extremely British and far less known again. And if it does, then we have on our hands a trend for the future, because we don't have a trend with 1 year.
Yeah.
We don't know. We don't know if this is going to look like last year or not. All right, let's get to the main acting categories, which are just so full of drama. I'm losing my freaking mind. Let's start with supporting actress. We are going to have 6 nominees. We know that 2 of them are already automatic because they were the top 2 votes, and then the jury's vote for the next 4. I don't know if you have an idea of what you think the top 2 are, but I think maybe we should include that as a part of our predictions.
Okay. I feel like I do. Do you?
I feel like I do too, because
the only one I don't is supporting actor, because I think there's like 9,782 people eligible for supporting actor.
It is crazy. It is absolutely crazy. All right, I want to let you kind of go first with supporting actress and where you think things are. We've got 15 long listed performances. 6 will get in from this jury that we still don't know if it's 5 or 7 or 9. We just don't know.
First off, with the juries, that is way too small of a group to make a decision like this. I'm just saying, like that 5 people could have 5. That's not a big enough sampling.
It's basically turned the BAFTAs into the Gothams.
Literally. It's like I don't know how we can use this as like precursor. I don't understand.
I understand the idea of it. And actually, when all of these rules were announced, and even when the juried stuff was announced, before they got a little deeper into what it was, I really respected the idea, because what it was saying is the general membership as a whole is not doing their job. Let's reduce it to this, see how it goes after a few years, and essentially kind of maybe, I think they will move back into a more wider process of voting like it used to be. But I think they're going to need to see some very clear examples that it's working. Although this year is showing that that's not the case.
Yeah.
So
it's just, I understand. Like, it's like you said, like when they announced it, you were like, great. But then when they got into the finer details of it, I was like, this is not great. This is not what you think it is. Like,
once you got into the terms and conditions, you're like,
I was not checking the box. I was not checking I agree.
Yeah.
It's just, it's too small. It's like, you can't trust like 5 people. Like, I don't understand that.
Yeah.
Anyway, my top 2 are Miss Ariana, and then I'm really sorry for her name, Katrina.
It's just straight Katrina.
Love that. Sorry for butchering her name. Those are my top 2. You have one of them missing, huh? Okay. Excited.
It's gonna be fun.
I personally, I think those are the top 2. And then Okay, everyone's gonna get mad at me. I think it's Jessie Buckley, Ruth Negga, Kirsten Dunst, and Catherine Hunter. I
Love
really
it.
think Catherine Hunter gets in.
I love it. I mean, I was literally moving these names in and out of prediction and spoiler list until minutes before we jumped on this podcast. In most of the acting categories, because I think it's just going to be really volatile and wild.
Which I love. Like,
yeah.
I love that. Like, that's what you want from award season. Like, I
cool
don't want
with
it to be the same people over and over and over. But
it's not that. I'm just not personally invested because I'm a pundit. I'm not a participator. So I am afforded the luxury of enjoying surprises and snubs because it's not me.
Yes.
I'm good with it. My top two are Ariana DeBose, like yourself, and Kirsten Dunst for Power of the Dog.
Okay.
After that, I have Jessie Buckley, The Lost Daughter, Catherine Hunter, Tragedy of Macbeth, Ruth Negga, Passing, and Vanette Robinson for Boiling Point.
I have her as my 7th.
Yeah, I think she's gonna get in. She is absolutely like a jury pick. She's a jury pick. But that means I have Katrina Balfe and Judi Dench out, which is crazy because I think Judi Dench actually has a better shot than Balfe to get in.
Yes. Okay, I see that.
I had Judi Dench in and Hunter out. That was one of my last minute switches. I don't know how that's going to play out. I feel like Belfast is going to be really shaky with overall nominations.
I do too.
I don't like hope dicting. I don't want to hope dict Catherine Hunter to get in because I want it to happen.
Yeah.
But I feel like it could.
I really feel like it's going to happen. I think she's more likely than the people predicting Frances McDormand. And I don't know. I see her getting, I think like a lot of the stills on top of everything are of Catherine Hunter. And I don't think that's an accident. I think people leave the movie talking about her. And her performance is very physical. And I feel everyone else on the list is not like that. And I just feel I don't think she's getting in at the Oscars. And I think this is why they have 6 is for someone that doesn't get in at the Oscars to show up. And I do think maybe it is Vanette Robinson from Boiling Point. But I'm also like, they really like Tragedy of Macbeth. So I just went with her. And then obviously Jessie Buckley, they love her. They really liked The Lost Daughter. And then Ruth Negga, I see happening. Yeah, I like that your lock is Kirsten Dunst because she
is my lock. She is my lock in this. And that's part of that is trying to read into the overall long list numbers. Both West Side Story and Power of the Dog did really good. Rita Moreno is long listed here. So something really interesting is going on there. Then I also look at the casting category where Passing is. Passing is a very, very small cast, and it made it into casting. Obviously, West Side Story, Power of the Dog did as well. Tragedy of Macbeth did not, and it absolutely should have because that cast is stellar.
Not only is that cast the example of I would have never thought of them as these roles, but like they just are fantastic in them. But it's also like, oh my God, thank you for putting them in these roles. It's
and then we've got The Hand
but
of
I
God
like that
in here, which is like
weird. We both have Anjanou Ellis out. I just don't think King Richard is going. King Richard, on top of everything, is a very American movie. So I think that hurts its chances at BAFTA a bit. But I see her missing.
I do too. And
I have her as 7th.
Yeah.
No, 8th. I have her as 8th.
I think I have her. I would have her below Dench and Belf pretty easily. And last year, we were talking about the Oscar nominees that missed here. Even Viola Davis missed here for Ma Rainey, and she made it in for Widows before this whole change in voting. So I don't see what Ellis would have over any of those names to kind of get her to a better place. It's tough. And I mean, like, double check. Yeah, King Richard wasn't even shortlisted for editing. There's just, places that something misses that you have to pay attention, but it's shortlisted for casting.
Yeah.
So
that's why I kept
it make sense.
Yeah, like I kept her personally above Judi Dench, but I'm not going to be shocked if Judi Dench gets in. Like, it will make total sense to me if Judi Dench gets in.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
I see her missing, but I like Andrew Ellis missing, but I won't be completely shocked if she does somehow get in.
No, but I won't be either.
I just feel them snubbing her. I just feel that it's something they're going to do. When I first made the list, I didn't have her in. I had her on the outside the whole time. And then right before we got on, I double checked it because the supporting actor lineups are where I'm just the most. I don't know there's too many people. I don't know what's going on. But I feel confident leaving her off, unfortunately.
As long as it's not like Meryl Streep like shows up here, then I'll be fine. And nothing against Meryl Streep because I love her.
That's the thing. If it's like a worthy performance, I'll be like, it's fine that someone else got in.
Yes.
But if they do go all out and Don't Look Up, please don't be in this category.
I know. What if it's like Ana de Armas? Wouldn't that be amazing? I would love that.
4 minutes of screen time.
Everyone's
yelling about Bradley Cooper. And I'm like,
oh, wait a minute. We didn't even mention her as a rising star contender. Holy cow.
You know what?
Oh.
And then, you know what? They should do it. And then they should release a teaser for Deepwater. There you go.
And Blonde.
Oh my God, Blonde.
Oh my God. Why didn't I think about that? She could totally make it in.
She's the perfect big name one too.
Oh my God, you're right.
And they love No Time to Die, obviously.
Oh my God. And since it's public voted, like the Ana de Armas
Ana de Armas updates is gonna
they'll be like sending out, letters to everybody to vote for her. Oh my God.
Like Gary Oldman's little signed photo he sent out when he was campaigning. They're gonna do that.
That is hilarious. Oh my God. Okay, yeah. Now I'm like triggered into changing my okay.
You have to have her. I don't know who's
exactly. I'll have to figure it out. Maybe Mike Weiss will have to go bye. Sorry. I don't know.
Zach is shaking.
I'm yeah, right.
They're like, please don't do this to me.
Please, no. Okay, let's go to supporting actor. Otherwise, I'll go into a spiral. Okay, this is a really interesting category too. We've got lots of doubles here. Power of the Dog, House of Gucci, West Side Story, Belfast. There's a lot going on here in this long list, and I'm struggling with this one. I mean, I like that there's some names here that are a bit of a surprise, like Andrew Garfield, or even Woody Norman, which is a tiny bit, not a big surprise, but a little bit. And clearly I know one of your picks already, but I'll do mine. I'll do mine just straight out of what I have, and then we'll dig into it. I have Bradley Cooper. I have Ciarán Hinds. I have Troy Kotsur. I have Woody Norman. I have Jesse Plemons, and I have Cody Smith McPhee. And right outside of that is Jamie Dornan, but he's missing everything anyway. So.
Ooh. Mm-hmm. Okay. No one yell at me. So I have Ciarán Hinds, Troy Kotsur, Woody Norman, Bradley Cooper, Jesse Plemons, and Benicio del Toro.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
You don't have Demon Twink in here?
So he's my 6. I won't be shocked if Jesse Plemons misses and Cody gets in. But
Oh my God.
I know.
That's wild.
I do think he's in, and like I do think I'm wrong, but I
love that for you.
I really think Jesse Plemons is getting an Oscar nomination. Like I really I have felt it since I saw Power of the Dog. Like I grew up on Friday Night Lights. I've been loving his rise to like he's been in a Best Picture nominee like 5 of the last 6 years. Like
yeah, and he's going to be again next year with the Scorsese. Yeah. So his trajectory is perfect for this.
And I'm getting
he's going to John C. Reilly himself right in there.
Yes, I'm just getting to the point where I'm like, how is he going to be on this path and not get a nomination for himself at some point? And I know Cody's probably in, but I think Kieran's in. I think that's like where Belfast is like secure here.
Me too.
I know I should take Benicio out and put Cody in, but I really see Benicio getting in.
So talk a little bit about that, because obviously I knew this was your pick here.
Clearly really liked The French Dispatch.
Uh-huh.
I think Jeffrey Wright is the better performance in The French Dispatch. I think he should be getting an Oscar nomination. Don't even talk to me about Jeffrey Wright in this movie. But one, I think that his scene is shared with someone else they clearly like. And I just feel it. Like when I saw him on the short list, I was like, I think he's getting in. I think if they're going to honor The French Dispatch anywhere outside of Screenplay, it's that. It's not anywhere else. I don't have it anywhere near.
Well, I mean, I think it's going to get score and production design.
I just think it's going to get something else above the line, and it's not going to be. I just think this is where it is. I don't know. So I won't be shocked if he's out, Cody's in, and then I won't be shocked if maybe, I don't know. I really feel Woody Norman.
Yeah, I mean, I have him in. So then is your 6 and 7 Del Toro and Smith McPhee? That's your 6, 7?
Yeah, and then I have Jamie Dornan.
Yeah.
I just feel like Jamie Dornan's really charming, and you can't count that out if he like sneaks his way in. But I don't think they're gonna, if they're double nominate any movie in this category, it's not Belfast. Like I don't feel like it's Belfast. It's definitely Power of the Dog if it's anything.
I agree.
And I'm once again sorry to Zach. I just don't have Mike Fast showing up. I
don't either.
I don't see it happening.
And I've seen some people predicting David Alvarez, and good luck to that. That's great. It might. I'm not being shady, but it seems a little less likely than others. I would put Jared Leto in over that, and that is like a pox on my house for even saying it, because that could happen. Jared Leto could absolutely happen here. So
you have Bradley Cooper, and who is your number 2?
Oh, or that's right. We have to pick out our ones and twos.
Yeah.
So my number 1 is Cody Smith McPhee. My number 2 is Kieran Hines.
Okay. Mine is Kieran Hines and Bradley Cooper. And I'm not just saying that because I love Bradley Cooper, like go Mini Coopers. But I just think they really liked Licorice Pizza more than I thought they would. I was kind of worried Licorice Pizza would be like, that's very American. Like, I don't understand. But they clearly really liked it. So I think he's number 2. I'm pretty sure.
I can see that. If I was doing like a 1, 2, 3, Cooper would be 3rd, and I could move him around in that top. But, I mean, obviously our positions on that are going to be very different because I have Demon Twink in. Demon Twink is my number 1. So.
I just want to say I do love him, and I really think he's possible for winning the Oscar. I can just see him missing one really big thing. And this is like really the only thing left.
Yeah.
I personally really just see Jesse Plemons in. I don't know. I just feel it. I don't know if it's one of those things. I just really because I feel it.
I feel it too.
At what point are we going to be like, he's been in too many amazing movies and the movies keep getting recognized and he's not.
Yeah.
Like, he's clearly great. I don't know. I just see it happening. I just see it happening.
It would be
I don't
great.
know.
I'll feel really good about it if it happens. I mean, I think he can still get in at the Oscars without getting in here.
Yes, I do too.
But I think it would be good if he got it. Obviously.
And I just would love for him and Kirsten show up together, like, equal nominees. Not.
I want that for them.
Yes. I know everyone's really excited about like Beyonce and Jay-Z, but I'm really excited about Jesse Plemons and Kirsten Dunst.
Yes, I want that dynasty. Let us have it. Let us have it.
Truly.
Looking outside of everybody that we mentioned at some maybe like wild card possibilities, I did mention Jared Leto, which I don't think is that much of a wild card. I think he's very much in contention.
Mm-hmm.
Mark Rylance being the only one from Don't Look Up to get shortlisted here. Maybe there's something there. I don't think so, but maybe there is.
I keep
J.K.
having
Simmons.
this like sickening feeling the Oscar nomination morning, because I haven't decided if I'm going to wake up early or not, that I will either wake up in terror that Mark Rylance gets in or J.K. Simmons.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, I feel like they need one thing before. Like, if they're going to miss, I feel like it would be pretty obvious they'd get in here, like one of them. Like, maybe they get in and then we're all freaking out for a week that they're going to get an Oscar nomination. And then they don't. But I just, there's just so many people for supporting actor. I don't really feel, I feel more confident with them picking someone either like Benicio del Toro that's never getting an Oscar nomination for this year, or someone like Jesse Plemons, obviously. And then I really think Woody Norman's like safe. I think he's in.
Yeah, I think so too. But also too, when we're looking at how things will translate to Oscar nominations, I just don't think we're going to have a category that has, more than one person that hasn't gotten anything and then just shows up at the Oscars. So that doesn't bode really very well for J.K. Simmons or Mark Rylance or Jesse Plemons as a group of more than one of them happening.
Yes.
So
I hope that it's just not Andrew Garfield, because
I know, but he's here.
It's
like I said, it got that adapted
casting,
screenplay too,
or
and
like
casting. It's right there.
But I will say I do like him in Tammy Faye.
Oh, I love him in it. I think he's great.
I wish he was being talked about more in it, because I think it would help him, obviously, for Tick Tick Boom. But what if they do that? What if they go crazy? What if they're like, we're gonna put him in here too?
That would be actually I think it would be a little bit shocking. Even more so than like Margot Robbie's double nominations the year before they made the changes. And one of the main reasons they made the changes.
Never forget the morning before Oscar nominations. I was like, what if Margot Robbie gets nominated for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood instead of Bombshell? So don't listen to me. Don't listen to me.
Weird things happen. It happens. Let's go to lead actor. And this is a pretty intense list. We're going to see, I think, something happen for the first time ever. And it sort of took this to make it happen, I think. Maybe. I'll go first.
I'm so excited.
Oh my God. I'm this long list is terrifying me by some of the names that I see on it. Oh God. Yeah. Okay. All right, here we go. I think the top two are Benedict Cumberbatch in Power of the Dog and Andrew Garfield in Tick Tick Boom. That is my 1-2. After that, I have Adil Akhtar for Ali and Ava, Stephen Graham for Boiling Point, Will Smith for King Richard, and Denzel Washington Tragedy Macbeth, which will be his first BAFTA nomination ever.
That is so crazy. When I looked that up, because I was like looking up everyone's like histories with the BAFTA, I was like, what? Like, he's Denzel.
Notorious. This is a notorious decades-long snub of the most celebrated Black actor of the Academy Awards.
Ridiculous.
Yeah.
Okay. I also have Benedict and Andrews 1 and 2. And then I have Will Smith. I have Denzel Washington. I also have Adil Akhtar. And then I have Leonardo DiCaprio.
That's fine. I'm okay.
And then I have Stephen Graham for Boiling Point. And then I have Daniel Craig for No Time to Die.
Yeah, my spoiler list is Daniel Craig, DiCaprio, Peter Dinklage, and Riz Ahmed.
Okay, yeah, I have Riz Ahmed like after Daniel Craig, because okay, so Daniel Craig, I will not be shocked because he got in for Casino Royale.
Yeah,
and
I know.
I won't be shocked. I don't feel like confident to put him in the 6, but hear me out about Leo. I just think he's Leonardo DiCaprio, and I was hoping with Don't Look Up they'd be like, this is such a dumb American movie, and they clearly didn't feel that way. And
they can still feel that way.
I would love it if they felt that way. But I don't know. I feel like the list is very, I don't know. I feel him getting in. I don't feel like they'll go super British. I don't know. They're either going to go very British or they're going to go like, we'll give you 4 Oscar nomination possibilities. Or they could go like you're saying, like Adil and Steven, and it make absolutely no crossover sense whatsoever.
And that's just the BIFA correlation that I'm thinking will happen. But the funny thing about it is that we already have Garfield and Cumberbatch as British representation.
Exactly. So that's why I was like, are they thinking like that? Like, I don't know if they think like that because they're like American productions. And then like Tick, Tick, Boom is very much an American movie.
Yeah.
I know Power of the Dog is also, but I don't really feel like you watch it and you're like, America. I feel like you watch Tick, Tick, Boom and you're like, this is very American problems. And but I don't know if they're going to be like, that's why I put Adil Akhtar in and then Stephen Graham right on the outside. Cause I was like, I don't really know if they're going to think Benedict and Andrew are like British representation.
Yeah, I hear you.
Only think like that.
Because they're already populist choices.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's where I was like kind of at. So I didn't know if I wanted Stephen Graham as my 6th, but I will not be shocked if we wake up and Daniel Craig is in.
I won't be shocked. And I think I have, again, this is one of the things I kept kind of moving around to look at my list, like physically look at it and go, okay, yeah, this makes sense. But because Craig absolutely makes sense here. It didn't get into casting, which I thought maybe it could have and should have for a long list, yet Boiling Point did. So my head is just like, make it make sense, Eric. And I can't make it make sense.
The worst case scenario would be Adam Driver getting in for House of Gucci. I say this as, I don't know what our fan base is called, but I love Adam Driver. But honestly, though, Adam Driver is the person who was acting like the movie I wanted to watch based on the story. Like every actor was acting like they were in a different movie. And the movie that Adam Driver thought he was in is the movie I wanted House of Gucci to be.
Yeah, you've got Adam Driver and Al Pacino are in the straightforward drama. And then you have Jared Leto and Lady Gaga who are in the like Showgirls version.
Yes. It's just, when I saw his name on the list, I was like, there's nobody else. Like, there's no one else that could have been on this list. Like,
and that's a weird thing, and we'll get into it with Best Actress in a little bit, is, you know, both Pacino and Leto showing up in supporting actor.
Mhm.
Driver showing up here is the biggest surprise.
Mhm.
Long list mention. So what
does that mean?
what does that mean? What are we doing with House of
Like,
Gucci by not
because
predicting it? Are we being
I don't want to
absolute
be one of those
idiots?
people that is like, it doesn't mean anything just because they listed it everywhere. But it's like, it has to mean something. Like,
But sometimes it does and sometimes it doesn't.
exactly.
Because we saw that last year. We saw, the long list leaders get absolutely blanked.
Yes.
So it doesn't always translate.
I don't think Adam Driver's showing up, but it's just bizarre. He's on the list for me to not mention it.
Yeah, no, I agree. And it works kind of in the same way that Ana de Armas being on the supporting actress long list is like,
you can't ignore it. Like,
yeah.
it's there.
Does that make sense for somebody else? Not necessarily
Yes.
that person.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. So it's a little wild. It's a crazy category, but there's also too, for me, is Peter Dinklage's Last Stand. Obviously, if he misses here,
It's over.
I'll have to yank him out, and
Which
then
is
that stat will be gone.
Wild to me, because if you told me, I mean, it's obviously clearly just MGM, but if you told me that there was gonna be a Joe Wright musical coming out and it was just gonna be paid dust, I would have been like, you're wrong, you're mistaken. Especially once you see it and you're like, it's so beautiful and just everything I wanted from a Joe Wright musical.
The choice to
delay it,
as long as they did after having such an early festival premiere,
it's very bizarre.
It doesn't make any sense to me.
And because I have a child, like a baby, I don't really go to the movie theater as often as everybody else does. But every single time I've gone since she's been born and I've gone back, I've seen the trailer for it. And I'm like, at what point are people just gonna be like, I don't care? Like I'll never understand the release of this movie. I wish, like, I don't know who I wish had it, but I wish somebody else obviously had it and not butchered the release of it, because
I think Focus Features probably could have done a really good job with it. Although ironically, they had Licorice Pizza and let it go to MGM. So here we are. Yeah.
But this is definitely Peter Dinklage's last hope, but ironic that neither of us were like, he's 8th place. Like,
yeah, it's
it's so sad because I would love for him to like have an Oscar nomination. Like,
and you know what? Because again, we're talking about this tiny jury. We could be looking at Akhtar and Graham as not jury saves at all.
Yeah.
But I feel like they are the jury saves because we already, like we said, have Cumberbatch and Garfield as populist choices and British representation.
Yes.
So all I really want from this, though, is Denzel Washington to finally get a fucking nomination.
Truly.
Because if that doesn't happen here, holy cow.
So when people miss and you're like, you're kind of overreacting, like that would not be the case here at all.
It would be bad.
It could be like catastrophic. So I hope they're very aware of that.
But Variety will write like 3 different think pieces on it if it happens. So anyway. Let's move to leading actress, which if I can even make it through this without having a heart attack, I need like my own Oscar, because this category is gonna end me.
I do just want to say before we even get into it, I'm really excited that Best Actress is like amazing women that I'm excited to talk about, regardless how I feel about their performances.
Absolutely.
I love every single person in this like category so much.
Me too. And that just, goes hand in hand for, being a raging homosexual. So it's a requirement, but thankfully I also enjoy it. So
yes.
Let's dig in. I'm going to have you go first because I am so scared And I want to know who your number one and number two is, and I'll be shocked if it's not the same as mine.
Okay, I'm really terrified to say who I'm leaving off, which is just, yeah. My number one is actually Olivia Colman, and then my number two is Nicole Kidman. I understand they could be flipped, but they really like Olivia Colman. She is not only British representation, but they love Olivia Colman. Mm-hmm. And then I have Lady Gaga, and then I have Jessica Chastain, and then I have Jennifer Hudson, and then I have Joanna Scanlon for Afterlove. I have Kristen Stewart right outside. I don't think people understand that, like, it's not just that she plays Princess Diana. It's like you have to think of like who's involved with BAFTA.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I know it's not part of like the voting or the jury, but this was very different than something people are expecting of Princess Diana, and I don't think that's going to be lost on very many British people, unfortunately. So yeah. I don't have her in. It like really pains me, but I have her missing.
Yeah, I understand. I really, really do.
It's really like, and I want everyone to know, Spencer was my number 2 movie of the year. I really loved Spencer. And I love her performance. I'm a huge The Crown fan. I love Princess Diana. I don't think SAG was like a snafu. Like I see the snub train continuing, unfortunately.
I have to echo everything that you said. Spencer is also my number 2. I am a absolute Princess Diana obsessor. I am of the age that I grew up with her as somebody, I don't know, that was just such a visible ally and just a seemingly incredible, fantastic person. All of these things. I love The Crown, all of the things. But it's pretty obvious what BAFTA thinks about Spencer with its 4 tiny long list mentions. So without further ado, I'll get into my 6, which are so very different from yours.
I love it.
Because I think this is a category that's going to be insane, even more than the other ones that we mentioned.
Yeah.
I also have Olivia Colman as number 1. Her miss last year, one of the reasons we have the rule change again this year. Kidman is my number 2.
I'm so excited.
Then I have Renat Rensev.
Okay.
For The Worst Person in the World, Claire Rushbrook for Ali and Ava, and Joanna Scanlon for After Love, which means no Chastain, no Gaga, no Stewart, no Hudson, which feels like insanity. But
I like see it happening. Do you know what I mean? Like I see them being like, I don't need all your American, like, you know?
It's much closer to how the BAFTAs used to be when they came after the Oscars, and it was extremely, extremely, extremely British.
Yes.
But the weird thing is that I feel my list and your list are equally as possible and equally as absolutely out there.
Yeah, so when I was making it, and I'm sure you felt the exact same way, like I was like, they're either going to go very British where it has zero insight to the Oscars, or I was like, they're going to put final women locked in. And I went back and forth on Jennifer Hudson the most, but I just want to say I always had Stewart missing. If I had Hudson out, I don't really think I would put Kristen Stewart in.
Yeah, I hear you.
I don't know. I really feel like Jennifer Hudson is like gonna come back somehow. I don't think she's in my Oscar 5, but I just think she's
in mine.
Ooh, I think she's gonna make enough conversation where we're all gonna be like, oh my God, it's happening. And then I don't know. She might miss. She's the weakest of my list. But I wouldn't be shocked if Chastain missed. But it's just weird that Tammy Faye is in other places that like I wouldn't have never put Tammy Faye, to where I was like, I don't, and she's like the one person other than Colman and Kidman that I'm like, she's been everywhere. I don't know how to continue, like, because personally, I wouldn't put Jessica Chastain in my 5. Like, if I made a personal list, she would not be anywhere near it.
Yeah.
But I don't know how I can ignore her. I won't
can't
be shocked.
because her social media presence is absolutely
my mom
onslaught.
Thinks she's hilarious, and I'm like, that says more than enough. Like,
I mean, I'm so here for her and Gaga's campaigning and how
I love it because
just
bonkers
it's
and
out there. It's everything we want from a campaign.
I don't understand anyone complaining about it, and someone else on Twitter brought this up more eloquently, but it's like campaigning during, and I know people don't want to hear about a pandemic anymore, but we're still in one, and they're really struggling with some things are in person, some things are virtual, and you have to still get your personality across. And them trending on Twitter every day because they did something is helping them. And like, do I think
I don't know. Is it helping or is it hurting?
I think Chastain's is helping because my mom thinks she's hilarious, and that's very like Academy age driven.
Yeah.
No offense to my mother. But Gaga, I send my mom stuff that Gaga says, and she's like, what is she talking about? And I'm like, that could hurt her. But I also, I think it helps her. I think like, because, and I know you probably feel this way also, I've been a huge fan of Gaga outside of movies for so long, and I'm so used to her saying things. I'm like, please stop talking like the way she went on, like everyone remembers the meat dress, but I'm like, I remember all the conversations she had about the meat dress. Like I don't recall the meat dress itself. I recall her explaining it like she's Darren Aronofsky explaining Mother, like, so I'm like, I think a lot of people are used to her and it doesn't bother them as much. I think it only hurts the older Academy members with her. But I also think like the people that like her performance in House of Gucci are not going to have a problem with her campaigning.
Exactly. I totally agree. And, you know, as somebody else mentioned on Twitter, and what has to be reiterated is that Andrew Garfield is pretty much Eddie Redmayning himself, you know, in this campaign too, but you don't see the same level of criticism levied against him as you do her or Chastain. And it's, you know, there is a clear inequity there to that.
It's like everything, but as someone who likes all three, I'm like, everything Andrew Garfield does to everyone is charming, and then everyone else thinks everything Gaga and Chastain does is annoying, and I'm like, yeah, you have to understand.
Like, just tell me you hate women.
Just say it. It's really easy. People do it all the time. Like, it's just infuriating because when Gaga started making this transition to acting, I was like, she is going to be so annoying and over the top. And I was really excited for it, obviously, because from the get-go, like, look at every outfit she wore to all the A Star is Born festival premieres. Like, she knew what she was doing from the get-go. You're telling me she didn't sit down with a vision board of like great movie actresses to her stylist? Like, if people don't realize, like, that was campaigning. Like, she is taking on a persona for every campaign she's doing. And like, just because we've only really seen her do 2 doesn't mean like she's not doing it. Like, I don't think the people that are complaining don't understand like eras of pop girls. And I'm like, you don't understand. This is like clearly just her House of Gucci era. And like the second it is over, we are not going to see the looks she is doing, the weird things about cats she's talking about. And like, for one, I like everything she said. The flies following her around. I'll never forget it. It's just, I like it.
No, she's provided us some of the most iconic moments of this campaign so far. And We haven't even gotten
Everyone's
the nominations
complaining,
yet.
but I'm like, how many reaction photos have you saved to your phone of this woman in interviews? Like, complain all you want.
Or of other people reacting to her.
Like, how many images of Salma Hayek do you have on your phone from that one interview?
I have 3 now because they're amazing.
And I'm like, how many people like texted me about it? I'm like, people that aren't even like Oscar buffs or like interested in it asked me about it. And I'm like,
exactly.
So people can complain all they want, but they're loving it.
Exactly. All of those things, which brings us back to this category, which is, like I said, driving me crazy. And I just want to like buy myself a casket and put myself in the ground because it's so difficult and so wild. And it's very similar to leading actor in an opposite kind of way, where the main populist choices are not, they're not really quite the same. So I think like my picks of Scanlon, Rushbrook, I think Scanlon's in, period, end of sentence. And Rushbrook is a much more risky pick, but like Renat Rensev as the sole single non-English language performance, she might actually be top 2 because of that. If she's not, she is absolutely, to me, a jury pick because of that.
Yeah.
She represents what the jury was supposed to be doing. But then on the other side of that, so does Jennifer Hudson in Respect, because
that's
of
what
this
I was
list,
thinking.
there's her
like,
and Tessa Thompson are the only women of color on this damn list.
And one that's just like, watch more movies. I don't know what to tell you people. Like, but like, so Passing is one of my favorite movies of last year, and I think it should be getting far more acclaim, especially like there were an abundance of black and white movies, and that was one of the movies that should have been in black and white. Like, it made a difference. It was in black and white. But it's like, I wanted to put Tessa Thompson in, honestly, but I was like, if they do anything, they're going to be like, Jennifer Hudson, it's a real person. It's like, like there were so many things they were going to say about it. So I was like, that's why I put Jennifer Hudson in. The
thing that benefits Thompson is a broader range of
long lists.
Yeah, and being a British film, even if she is not. And then again, that casting short list, long list, that's something.
Then I started to have a panic attack, and I was like, what if they're like Ruth Nega's Enough from that movie?
Which like, everybody else has been doing.
Exactly. So I was like,
and is Irish.
Yes. And I don't know. I'm really sorry to Tessa Thompson, because 1, I think she is just so incredible in this movie. And 2, everything she has said on every like press interview and like round table has been like really interesting and not like over the top campaigning, but just like insightful.
Oh, she's wonderful.
Yes. And I don't think we get that very often with lead actresses. And I think a lot of people dismiss her, but she has such a varied body of work that I think is so important. And because I don't see Marvel movies, but like how impressive to do Passing and Thor like the same 2 years. Like, I don't know many actors that are doing things like that. I know Andrew Garfield is in Tick, Tick, Boom and Spider-Man No Way Home, but they're very different kind of like from most people that do like these bigger movies and then smaller movies. Because Passing is a very intimate, small movie when you're watching it. And that's I can't imagine as an actor, like going from that set to like the Thor set must just be insane. But I do think, Joanna Scanlon's definitely like 3rd. I don't know what, it's a jury pick that is like really throwing me. Like, what are they going to be like? We're missing on this lineup. Are they going to say it's a performance, not in English? Are they going to say we need someone of color on this list? Like, because they're not going to do both.
I think they are.
You do?
Yeah, I think they are. I think that is the.
I would love it.
It is
it would be necessary.
Of the juries is exactly to do
but
that.
That's why I'm like, they're not going to do it because they're not going to do what they were supposed to.
Yeah, it's tough, and it's like I said before, the long lists are great, but they do rob us of those surprise inclusions. Because I mean, Jennifer Hudson even being on this list says
I honestly thought she was gonna miss, and then
totally.
When I saw her on the list, I was like, she might be in just from being on the list. Like,
totally.
I think she's in. I'm sorry to Kristen Stewart. I'm very sorry.
With all of my heart and soul, I want her to get in, and honestly, she needs.
I want her to get in. I want her to win. It's done.
Me too.
I want her to win an Oscar, but like, here we are. It's just crazy that like Spencer is what I want from a biopic, and Being the Ricardos is what I do not want from a biopic. And then like, what is happening?
Here we are.
It's honestly what's expected. Like, it's it's fine.
Yes. And you know, with all of this, the very few names that we haven't mentioned, like Rachel Zegler, I know people that are predicting her to get in here. Frances goddamn McDormand is here. I would not count that out. Same. They loved Coda. They loved Licorice Pizza.
I couldn't get over how much they liked Coda.
Talk about a very American film, but it's not, because it's also a remake of a European film.
Yeah, exactly. But I was just like, I didn't see, like, when I was counting how many times it's on the long list, I was like, not what I thought was going to happen.
Absolutely not.
So that wouldn't be like super shocking. Alana Haim would be a little shocking.
Yes. I think so.
But I wouldn't be too shocked if Emilia Jones got in.
Yes. All right. Let's jump to director before we get to the final category. And director has very exceptional rules unto itself. There will be 6 nominees, and the requirement is 3 female and 3 male directors. So you will not see, 4 men nominated here. You will not see 5 women nominated here. It has to be 3 and 3, period. That's it. And unlike the acting, this is not like a top 2. This is the list that round 1, which is the chapter vote, came up with. And there are some nominees here. Well, not nominees, but there are some people on this long list. This is the only place that their movie showed up. Says a lot. And here we go. All right. I'm going to go first.
I'm so nervous. I wonder if we have the same.
My spoiler next in line list is as long as my nomination list. So 3 men, 3 women. I will start with the women I think that are getting in, and that is Maggie Gyllenhaal, The Lost Daughter, Rebecca Hall, Passing, Jane Campion, and The Power of the Dog.
Ooh.
Then let's go to director, which I feel absolutely zero confidence in at all. 0. And I might even change it as I'm speaking, because
I love that.
I think that I'm going to. Okay. Denis Villeneuve, Dune, Alim Khan, After Love, and Paolo Sorrentino, The Hand of God.
Oh my God.
So I had obviously Hamaguchi in, but Hand of God is all over the place.
Yes.
Screenplay, casting.
Wow.
Something's up. Because one of those 2 is going to be the Oscar director pick.
For sure.
One of them is. And I know everybody, including myself, is going Hamaguchi. And it makes a lot of sense. Trend-wise, Sorrentino makes more sense.
I see that.
And we know Vinterberg got here last year.
Wow.
I'm losing my mind with this because that means obviously Kenneth Branagh is not here, Paul Thomas Anderson's not here, Steven Spielberg is not here.
So do you have Spielberg in for your Oscar 5?
No.
Okay.
He's my snub.
I don't feel confident enough to snub him yet. I don't know.
I'm not confident at all.
I just okay. So for my men, I have Spielberg, Villeneuve, Hamaguchi. I feel like he needs something to show up for the Oscars. I don't know. It could be like you're saying, because Hand of God is everywhere. Now you have me doubting my list as I'm speaking. Okay. For my women, I have Campion and Gyllenhaal, but then I have Julia. How do you say her last name?
Cornell?
Yes.
Cornell.
Yes, I have her in. And then right on the outside, I have PTA and Kenneth Branagh. I won't be shocked if we're all imagining Kenneth Branagh missing and then him getting in. But I don't know. I feel like he has that whole he's an actor thing working against him. We just see that all the time. And as boring as it is to talk about, like, it's clearly a thing. But I really like Rebecca Hall for Passing.
Yeah, that's I feel good about it just as an overall performance of the film versus, like Janica Bravo or Julie DeCournau or Joanna Hogg, whose films just don't have the representation on the long list.
Yeah.
For it to make a whole lot of sense. Although, last year's nominations in this category were bananas.
Yeah. That's why I included Julia, but I might take her out and put Rebecca Hall.
She makes great sense. I love it. We're trying to attach logic to an illogical situation. And that we're doing the best we can with that, even if it might be our folly to do so.
Yeah, I'm gonna leave Julian, but I really like Rebecca Hall for Passing. Especially, like, I don't know if they think about it like this, but there's so many black and white films. Are they really not going to include one? And director?
I guess. Yeah, maybe that.
I don't think they think of things like that, but like
that might be a little bit outside, but I don't know. Maybe not. I don't know. I'm actually, when I'm looking at the list from last year, again, wondering if maybe both Hamaguchi and Sorrentino
I was just
make
thinking
it in.
that. And then would you still have Denis in?
I think so.
Yeah. It's really crazy that, like, I think Denis is safe no matter what, but I could never see him winning.
Exactly.
It's so funny.
And
I wonder what that feels like to be
weird?
like the...
What's weird about it is that in like previous years of this, especially with director picture splits, him winning and then losing picture
would make sense.
Classic.
It's classic.
It's
like, what a director achievement. And then like, but we're not giving you best picture. Like,
it's because of, as we know, the preferential ballot and how all that works. But this makes sense in like the Spotlight year and Moonlight, and it just makes sense.
It's so funny, like, if it had just come out a different year.
Yeah, well, the year that it was supposed to come out, maybe.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Mm-hmm.
It's so funny because he's definitely not getting it for part 2 either.
No, this is not Lord of the Rings. But that's why, and I say this every time, that's why every year is its own year.
Mm-hmm.
If Dune had come out in
I still think, because it would still be against Nomadland, right?
It would be, but we could still have gotten
Nomadland picture.
A flip. Yeah.
Yeah.
We might have even had something completely different and an opposite flip of wanting to get that director win for Zhao and then Dune for picture.
Yeah.
But
That's
see,
so
we'll
weird
never
to
know.
think about. We'll never know.
Never know.
But it's just so funny. Like, I wonder what that feels like to be like you're definitely getting nominated, but not one person alive is predicting you to win. Like,
This is always my thing too, year to year, as we see the same people get every single nomination, and they're never at any point a front runner. So they're going to all of these shows and losing and losing and losing and losing, whether it's to the same person or to multiple other people.
I think about like Olivia Colman, and it's her birthday. How she was super drunk when she won because she was like, Glenn Close was winning. I'm like, that's what I would do. I just be like, I'm gonna have fun. Like, I'm not gonna win. There's no pressure.
Exactly.
But then you win. Who knows what you do? Exactly. Imagine that happens to Denis Villeneuve. I can't imagine him drunk.
I don't think I've seen him drunk, so no.
Imagine him getting up there being like, fuck HBO Max. What if Hand of God and Drive My Car get in?
Well, I mean,
that would be really cool if of the 3 male nominees, 2 were non-English films. I would like that.
Last year had 2 non-English films. So I wonder.
But there's also like this horrible possibility that there's 0 films not in English, and Paul Thomas Anderson takes that spot that I'm keeping open.
Yeah. Wait, there was 3, not 2, 3. Oh my God.
Well, I personally think Spielberg's in, and then I think Denis is in.
Spielberg has a better track record with BAFTA than he does with the Oscars even.
Yeah. I mean, that's like the first person I remember my parents telling me the Academy hated was Steven Spielberg.
Until they didn't.
Until they didn't.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think I think Drive My Car is in just because I want to see him get in somewhere before the Oscars.
Yeah.
But Hand of God is everywhere on the long list.
It doesn't have a lot. It only has 5, but it has all in the most important places.
Yeah.
Other than acting, obviously.
Well,
yeah. And actually, I didn't even mention the kid in that, Filippo Scotti, as a rising star potential contender. Because he's on my list, but
I'm gonna stay with Spielberg, Villeneuve, and Hamaguchi for my mid.
I think that's reasonable. I think it's very reasonable.
Yeah. This is where I start to see Kenneth Branagh like really falling off, not just like in people's minds or like Twitter's hatred of Belfast. But I
can't even pay attention to it because it's so silly.
It's so silly, and there's more important movies that are actually problematic to be upset about.
They just need something to really hate, and they need the race to be
bizarre.
Between 2 things that are one's
like
loved
appealing
and one's
hated.
It has to be a Roma Green Book, a Crash Brokeback.
Yeah.
Without that, there's little to talk about, even though the talk is super toxic.
Yes. But I do think this is where he starts to like just disappear. I can't wait for me to be wrong and him be everywhere. But
it could, yeah. There's it's just as reasonable, and that's why BAFTA is turned into, I guess, an unreliable predictor now because of this. So it's very difficult to be if then with BAFTA the way that we have been able to be in the past for a decade and a half. Then let's close with Best Film, which is just 5 nominations, and I think is going to be extremely populist and very. I don't think we are going to see any surprises in this.
God! Now I'm so scared because mine is very populist, but I picked something very.
Oh my god! Well, okay. Let's. I'm gonna let you go first.
Okay. I feel very, very confident about Power of the Dog, West Side Story, Belfast, and Dune. But for my fifth, I went No Time to Die. I don't really think it's like, I'm not confident about it at all, but
Yeah.
I just think like they did it for Casino Royale. I can see that. And then right on the outside, I have Licorice Pizza or Coda.
Yeah.
But that's
It's
where I'm at.
and this is also everything is voted on in all rounds by the entire membership.
Yeah.
Which is why, you can see some weird things sometimes.
No Time to Die was on too many lists.
Except for director.
I know. The director's what? Because if it had been a director, I might have put him in. Yeah.
If Fukunaga had made the director long list, I would have kept No Time to Die in my predictions and probably put Daniel Craig in as well.
Yeah, because I have Daniel Craig right on the outside for actor, so I'm like, I just see No Time to Die getting like one thing that we're like, real, like what, like, and it's either here or Craig. I don't know. We could just wake up and No Time to Die get like sound and that's it. But here I am. I'm including it. Oh, and then I also think The Lost Daughter has like a shot because they really liked it, but it's definitely my eighth. I really think it's either Licorice Pizza or Coda, which is hilarious that I would take out No Time to Die, like the most British film ever, and put in Licorice Pizza or Coda. But yeah, that's where I'm at right now. I'll probably change my mind tomorrow.
I feel it. I absolutely feel that. And this is unlike last year, this list of 15 films on the short list is basically an Oscar prediction list. This could be the Critics' Choice Awards, basically. It is shockingly Anglophile and very English.
It's very
speaking.
like not what I thought was going to happen.
No, I did not see all of these. Yeah, I didn't see it going out this way, and it's kind of tragic that it's such an obvious thing, and maybe they need the jury system for this too. I don't know, but I have 4 of the 5 that you do. I have Belfast, Dune, Power of the Dog, and West Side Story, and it is that last one that kind of has me moving around. I have Licorice Pizza in right now, but yes, No Time to Die makes absolute sense. I think I had it in yesterday. It makes absolute sense to be in here. Coda does too, a little bit less, but not that much less, because if I'm thinking about it, then Sean Heder as a director nominee makes sense too.
Yes.
But I just don't think we're going to see a whole lot of the same crossover. The only crossover I think I have between director and film is Power of the Dog and Dune.
Yes. Which is like so funny because Dune is just like, it's the same thing with Denis and director. Like, it's not winning Best Picture, but it's not missing the nomination anywhere. Like, I just... Licorice Pizza is definitely my, like, if I stop pretending about No Time to Die, Licorice Pizza's in. I'd be very curious if it's like Nothing We Said. Like, I don't see that happening, but I just, like, what if I don't even know what I would say they would do. They wouldn't go French Dispatch. I don't think they'd go Tragedy of Macbeth. But what if they did like Don't Look Up? Would they do that?
Picture?
Yeah.
Maybe.
Vice didn't get it.
No, but
The Big
again,
Short did.
Again, we're talking about a completely different form of voting. And just look at last year. There was one crossover between director and film.
Yeah.
One. That's it. Nomadland. That's it.
I have such a
So
I just get so scared about Don't Look Up.
I don't know. I don't know. And I mean, again, huge long list mentions, double digits, but I don't know. I feel like the cream will rise the way that it did with Nomadland last year. It showed us what we either knew or weren't looking at or weren't being honest about.
I know those 4 are like locks. It's just that 5th spot. It's so funny. I can't consider the HBO Max movies streaming releases because they don't have HBO Max.
Yeah, it's not going to matter the same way. So it's, yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, the fact that we don't have Drive My Car in here or The Hand of God or Parallel Mothers or Worst Person in the World. Really
it's
kind
so
of
bizarre because I really would have said Worst Person in the World had it been eligible.
That's why I think I might switch to having both Hamaguchi and Sorrentino in director, because it's the only place that they can
recognize.
Yeah,
that's probably a good call.
I think I'll have to do that.
I can't wait to see how different your written.
I know. I have to write them today. I have three podcasts today, and I have to do my predictions to post tomorrow morning. So that's going to be
amazing.
Oh my God.
Busy.
It's so much. This is like a Sunday, for Christ's sake. I should be sleeping.
Truly.
Well, that was much longer than I have been in the past with these new round of podcasts. I've been trying to keep them at like an hour. And
that's so funny because when I listen to podcasts with Daisy, it's very difficult when they're very short because they stop and podcasts don't just automatically play the next one. So I'm like, oh, that in session one that was like 3 hours. I was like, play. Like,
well, we'll be close to 2 hours with this one. So that's good. I'm glad. And this is only like top categories. We didn't even talk about anything else. Yeah. We would put in sessions to bed with like a 7-hour podcast. But Kenzie, thank you so much for having your debut on the AwardsWatch podcast. I really, really, really loved having you.
Thank you. I was so happy to be here. So nice to finally talk to you, not just tweet at you.
I'm telling you, when I make my way to LA, hopefully next month, and then we'll have to.
Since you're a newly Hollywood Critics member.
Yes, Hollywood Critics Association. Yes,
love it. Congratulations.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. I was pretty excited.
Everyone's excited for you.
Kenzie, tell people, listeners, readers, and all of the above where they can find you.
So you can follow me at Kenzie Vanunu on Twitter and Instagram, and then follow my baby on Letterboxd. It's Daisy Vanunu. I'm logging everything she watches. She's doing pretty well, so follow her along on her little journey.
I will be having Daisy on my Oscar prediction podcast because I really want to know what her picks are, because I think that she will be the best of all of us.
Yes.
As always, you can find me at awardswatch.com and on Twitter at awards_watch. I think just AwardsWatch on Letterboxd, Instagram, all of the other socials and anti-socials and all of the things like that. Yeah, here we are. The BAFTA nominations are going to be February 3rd. The BAFTA Awards are March 13th, the same day as Critics' Choice. So good luck with that. And we'll see how everything shakes out. And we'll just have 5 days between BAFTA noms and Oscar nominations. So it's going to be a crazy week. I will be writing fast and furious between the moment those BAFTA nominations come out and getting out all of my Oscar predictions before the 8th. So please follow that journey into madness as well. Kenzie, again, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks everyone for listening. Goodbye.